The Finding God in Me, the Parables. Episode 1. Stories of Redemption, Forgiveness, and Divine Mercy. The Broken Lamp. In a quiet village nestled between hills, there lived a humble potter named Elias. He was known for crafting beautiful lamps that lit the homes of the entire town. Each lamp was unique, shaped by his hands and fired in his kiln with care. One day, a boy named Levi came to Elias's shop. He was poor, with dirt on his clothes and sorrow in his eyes. "Sir," Levi said, "my mother is sick and our home is dark. We have no lamp. Could you give me one?" Elias looked kindly at him and said, "Take this one," and handed him a lamp, simple but glowing with a warm light. Levi ran home with joy. But days later, while playing, he tripped and shattered the lamp. Ashamed, he buried the broken pieces and said nothing. That evening, the house remained dark. The next morning, Elias came to visit. "I saw no light in your window," he said gently. Levi burst into tears. "I broke the lamp. I was careless. I don't deserve another." Elias knelt and took the boy's hands. "Bring me the broken pieces," he said. Levi hesitated, then dug up the shards and brought them to the potter. With patient hands, Elias returned to his workshop. He melted gold and filled every crack. When he returned, he gave Levi a lamp more beautiful than the first, glowing not just with light, but with the brilliance of its mended wounds. "This," Elias said, "is how I redeem what is broken, not by discarding it, but by restoring it with love." And from that day on, the lamp never went out. Jesus, like the potter, sees our brokenness not as the end, but as the beginning of redemption. He does not discard the fallen or the ashamed, but takes our broken pieces and through grace restores us with something more beautiful than before. His light shines brightest through our cracks, and his love fills what we thought was beyond repair. The Two Debtors. There was once a wealthy king who ruled a peaceful kingdom. He was known for both his justice and his mercy. One day, two servants were brought before him. The first servant, Jonas, owed the king a great sum, 10,000 silver coins, more than he could repay in 10 lifetimes. He had squandered the money in foolish living. When the king asked for repayment, Jonas fell to his knees. "Please, my lord," he cried, "give me time, and I will repay it all." The king looked into his heart and saw fear and regret. Moved with compassion, the king said, "You will not repay it, for I forgive your debt entirely." Jonas wept with joy and bowed deeply, thanking the king with trembling lips. As Jonas left the palace, he saw a fellow servant, Micah, who owed him just 10 coins. He grabbed him by the collar and shouted, "Pay me what you owe!" Micah fell to the ground. "Please give me time," he begged, "and I will repay you." But Jonas refused. He had Micah thrown into prison until the debt could be paid. When word of this reached the king, he summoned Jonas. "Wicked servant," the king thundered, "I forgave you all your debt because you pleaded with me. Should you not have shown the same mercy to your fellow servant?" And the king handed Jonas over to the jailers, saying, "Let him stay until he learns to forgive as he was forgiven." Just as Jesus taught in Matthew 18:21-35, God offers us immeasurable forgiveness. But we are called to reflect that forgiveness in our relationships. When we hold on to bitterness or judgment while enjoying the mercy of God, we show that we have not truly understood His grace. True forgiveness transforms the heart, not only in how we receive it, but in how we give it. The lost cloak. In a dry land where the sun burned bright, there lived a shepherd named Amos. He had a flock of 100 sheep and wore a blue cloak given to him by his father, a sign of his calling and love for the sheep. One day, as he tended the flock near the edge of the hills, a sudden storm blew in. In the rush to gather the frightened sheep, Amos slipped, and the wind tore the blue cloak from his shoulders. It was carried off into the wilderness. The storm passed, but the cloak was gone. Amos searched for it each day, calling out into the wind, "Return my cloak, you are mine." His friends told him, "It's only a cloak. Leave it, get another." But Amos would not rest. One evening a traveler arrived in the village. His clothes were ragged and his eyes were downcast, but over his shoulders he wore the blue cloak, torn and dirty but unmistakable. Amos approached him. The man lowered his eyes and said, "I found this cloak in the wild. I was cold. I knew it wasn't mine, but I was desperate. I do not deserve to wear it." Amos looked at him and said, "That cloak was lost, and so were you. But now both are found." He took the man into his home, washed his feet, gave him new clothes, and placed the blue cloak gently back upon his shoulders. "You are not just forgiven," Amos said. "You are restored." Like the shepherd, Jesus seeks out the lost, not with punishment, but with divine mercy. His love never stops calling to us, even when we think we've gone too far or taken what we don't deserve. When we return, he doesn't just forgive, he restores us, clothes us in dignity, and calls us his own. As it says in Luke 15:20, "While he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him, finding God in me," dedicated to bringing people closer to God.